Why fast food is America's silent killer. Do you think the biggest threats to Americans' health are drugs? Guns? Or maybe cigarettes? These are the most obvious answers because we hear about them every day. The news reports overdoses, shootings, and campaigns against tobacco. These dangers are visible, loud, and they make headlines and lead newscasts. But what if I told you there's an even more lethal, silent, and insidious enemy disguised as something harmless? An enemy that doesn't need to be smuggled, doesn't need international cartels or organized crime to spread. It's on every corner, on every highway, in every food court. It presents itself with vibrant colors, irresistible smells, and affordable prices. And the most disturbing thing, it's not seen as a danger, but as a part of everyday routine. This enemy is fast food. America's most lethal killer is literally in the palm of your hand, inside a colorful box or a greasy paper bag. It comes with giant sodas, crispy fries, and seemingly harmless desserts. It comes to you with a smile from trained staff, packaged in marketing campaigns that associate happiness, friendship, and success with the simple act of biting into a hamburger. But behind this glamorous image lies a public health problem that grows every year, slowly, painfully, and silently claiming lives. In this video, we're going to reveal how the fast food industry has managed to turn itself into one of the biggest enemies of public health in the United States. And what you're about to hear isn't a conspiracy theory, it's not sensationalist exaggeration. It's facts. It's numbers. It's real stories of millions of people who now bear the consequences of a food system that prioritizes profit over health. Get ready, because what you're about to discover might change the way you see your diet forever. The nutrition crime. The numbers don't lie. Today, more than 40% of American adults are obese. We're talking about almost 110 million people living daily with excess weight that isn't just a cosmetic issue, but a direct health risk. For every 10 people you see walking on the streets of the United States, at least 4 face the threat of chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and heart problems. Obesity isn't an isolated problem, it's the gateway to a devastating set of medical conditions. An overweight body is constantly forced to work beyond its capacity. The heart has to pump harder, the liver is overworked, joints suffer, and blood sugar levels explode. It's a domino effect that ultimately reduces the life expectancy and quality of life for millions of citizens. And here's the uncomfortable truth: the blame isn't just on a lack of exercise, a busy lifestyle, or genetics. There's a common factor present in the routine of a large portion of the population: the regular consumption of fast food. Studies show that eating fast food just twice a week significantly increases the risks of obesity and, in the long term, can raise the chances of developing type 2 diabetes by up to 30%. Now think about it, for millions of people, fast food isn't an exception, it's part of their routine. It's lunch for those who don't have time, dinner for those who are tired, a snack for those looking for convenience. Every hamburger, every serving of fries, every giant soda carries a silent load of refined sugars, saturated fats, and excessive sodium. We're talking about substances that, in small amounts, might seem harmless, but with repeated and frequent consumption, they function as a ticking time bomb inside the body. A single, seemingly harmless combo can easily exceed 1,200 calories. For some people, that's more than half of the recommended caloric intake for an entire day. Add to that the soda, which can have more sugar than the body should receive in 48 hours, and you have a meal that doesn't nourish, but rather poisons. And the most frightening part is the frequency. Every week, almost half of all Americans eat fast food. This means that millions of people are, day after day, feeding an enemy that doesn't show itself immediately, but little by little, compromises arteries, weakens vital organs, and saps the energy of an entire nation. What should be an exception has become the rule. what should be an occasional choice has become a dependency. Imagine an entire society walking, smiling, toward an abyss. That's how fast food consumption works. It doesn't knock you down all at once. It builds a path of false promises, offering comfort and convenience, while, step by step, it leads millions of Americans to disabling and often fatal diseases. And I ask you, the viewer, when was the last time you ate fast food? Do you remember how you felt? Fast, tasty, instant satisfaction. But did you ever stop to think about what you were actually putting into your body? This is the big trap. Fast food doesn't seem dangerous. It doesn't cause immediate pain. It doesn't create instant symptoms. But that's exactly what makes it America's silent killer. While you believe you're just having a quick meal, it's weaving the ropes that will limit your health, your energy, and even your longevity. If you think fast food became popular just because it's quick and cheap, get ready to discover something much darker. The success of this industry was no accident. It's the result of a meticulous strategy, built over decades, with a single goal: to make you eat more and more, spend more and more, and think less and less about what you're actually ingesting. The advertising that creates desire. It all starts with advertising. From an early age, even in childhood, we are bombarded with colorful images, unforgettable jingles, and charismatic characters that associate fast food with moments of joy, fun, and even family. Children grow up learning that a happy meal is not one made at home with care, but one delivered in a cardboard box, accompanied by toys. This strategy is not innocent. It is calculated. Studies show that the earlier a child is exposed to ultra-processed foods, the greater the chance they will carry these habits into adulthood. The industry knows this, and it invests heavily, billions of dollars every year, to ensure that brands are etched in the mind from childhood. The result is an army of loyal consumers who associate a bright yellow M logo or a red chicken bucket not just with food, but with emotion. It's not hunger. It's desire. The science of perfect flavor. But creating desire isn't enough. It's necessary to ensure that when you finally bite into that hamburger, the experience is unforgettable and addictive. And that's where the scientific manipulation of flavor comes in. Entire laboratories work in secret to find the exact combination of sugar, fat, and salt, known as the bliss point. This perfect balance is capable of activating specific areas of the brain responsible for pleasure and reward. Every bite of a crispy fry, every sip of a cold soda, every slice of greasy pizza was designed to light up the same brain circuits that respond to drugs like nicotine. It's no coincidence that many experts call fast food the legalized drug of nutrition. And the industry knows this. It doesn't just want you to like the taste. It wants you to be unable to stop. The size that seduces. Have you ever noticed how, when ordering a meal, they always offer you the option to supersize it? Just $1 more to turn the medium fries into a large. Just 50 more cents to double the soda. At first glance, it looks like a bargain. But this irresistible offer is, in fact, a calculated trap. By increasing portions, the industry's profit grows disproportionately. For them, filling the soda cup with more sugar syrup and carbonated water costs cents. But for you, it means ingesting hundreds of extra calories, plus absurd doses of sugar. So, little by little, portions were inflated. What was considered a large soda in the 1970s would now be seen as small. This silent escalation has transformed the notion of what is normal. Now, small is already too big. And large is simply absurd. The price strategy. Another crucial point is the price. Fast food is sold as affordable, democratic, for everyone. But cheap comes with a hidden cost. You might pay a few dollars for a combo today, but the bill will come later, in the form of expensive medicines, doctor's visits, hospitalizations, and lost years of life. And make no mistake, the low price is not a gift. It's the result of a mass production system that favors ingredients of dubious quality, created on an industrial scale. Chickens raised in confinement, processed meat with additives, potatoes genetically selected to fry faster and last longer frozen. It's industrial efficiency disguised as a meal. The logistics of omnipresence. But perhaps the industry's most powerful trick is its omnipresence. Fast food is everywhere. On street corners, in malls, on highways, at airports, in schools, and even in hospitals. It's impossible to escape. This constant presence turns choice into a habit. You don't have to look for it. Fast food is always there, ready, lit up, smelling good, and accessible at any time. And when convenience meets hunger, the battle is already lost before it even begins. The game of time. The industry has also learned to exploit the rush of the modern world. We live on the run, always short on time. And fast food presents itself as the magical solution, quick, practical, immediate. But deep down, what it does is steal something precious. It steals the culture of the shared meal, of home-cooked food, of the act of cooking as an act of care. Instead, it offers instant satiety, without connection, without affection, without awareness. The perfect machine. Aggressive advertising. Scientific manipulation. Inflated portions. Illusory prices. Strategic omnipresence. Absolute convenience. Each part of this machine was designed not to nourish you, but to trap you in a cycle of constant consumption. And that's exactly why fast food isn't just a habit. It's a system. A system that benefits corporate giants while silently making millions of people sick. Fast food isn't just a statistic. It has a face. It has stories. It has lives that have been marked. When we talk about obesity, diabetes, hypertension, or heart disease, we often think of cold numbers. But behind every number is someone just like you or me, someone who believed they were just making a quick, convenient, harmless choice. Take Mark, for example. Mark is a truck driver. He spent most of his life on the road, traveling between cities and states, delivering heavy loads and facing long journeys alone. For him, fast food was synonymous with convenience. A burger and fries were faster than preparing a healthy meal, cheaper than stopping at roadside restaurants that offered fresh food. At first, it seemed like a rational, almost logical choice. But little by little, the impact began to show. At 45, Mark was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. A silent disease that slowly corrodes the body, reduces the ability to heal, and damages nerves and internal organs. A few years later, he lost a kidney due to the disease's complications. His life, which once revolved around work and freedom on the road, was now reduced to medical appointments, medications, and restrictive diets. All because of seemingly trivial food choices. And Mark is not alone. Millions of Americans have similar stories. People who grew up with fast food as part of their family routine. Young people who develop chronic diseases before they turn 30. Adults who struggle with severe obesity, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol, often without understanding the seriousness until it's too late. The invisible price. The impact isn't limited to physical health alone. There's also a deep psychological effect. Many victims report feelings of guilt, shame, and anxiety related to their eating. They realize they can't resist the immediate pleasure of fast food, but they know that every meal is damaging their health. This cycle of desire and guilt becomes difficult to break. Additionally, there is a social and economic effect. People with diet-related chronic diseases face more difficulties at work, a greater need for medical care, rising hospital costs, and often a decrease in their quality of life. Fast food, which once seemed convenient, turns into an invisible cost, Too expensive to be measured only in dollars, but devastating in lost years of life. Stories that explain the epidemic. Also, consider Sarah, a young mother who worked 2 jobs to support her family. Between taking the kids to school, fighting traffic, and working long shifts, preparing balanced meals seemed impossible. Fast food became a practical solution, a quick rescue on exhausting days. But at 38, Sarah received a shocking diagnosis: severe hypertension, high cholesterol, and a high risk of heart attack. Every quick meal that provided convenience and saved money now weighed as an invisible burden on her health. Or think about James, a college student who lived in a dorm and had irregular hours. Convenience and low cost made fast food his main food source. By 25, James was fighting morbid obesity and already showing signs of insulin resistance. For him, what started as convenience turned into a silent prison that affected his academic performance, his self-esteem, and his energy. A problem that touches every state. These individual stories reflect a collective problem. The consumption of fast food is so widespread that virtually no region of the United States is immune. Small rural towns, large metropolises, suburbs, and urban neighborhoods, in all these places, the omnipresence of fast food turns choice into habit, and habit into addiction. And the industry knows it. It creates not just consumers, but silent victims. People who, without realizing it, trade health for convenience, and years of life for minutes of instant pleasure. The victim's cycle. The cruelest part is that the victim often doesn't recognize the danger until it's too late. Fast food is quick, cheap, tasty, and socially accepted. It's present at birthdays, parties, get-togethers, and on trips. It seems harmless. It seduces with colors, aromas, and advertisements. But each meal contributes to a slow cycle of physical decline. Glucose increases, body fat accumulates, blood pressure levels rise, cholesterol settles in. And all the while, the body continues to function seemingly normally, giving a false sense of security. It's this silent deception that makes fast food such an effective killer. It doesn't attack in an explosive way. It erodes, it infiltrates, it saps health and steals years of life without a sound. A reflection for the viewer. And you, who are watching now. How many times have you chosen fast food out of convenience, without realizing the real impact of that choice? How many friends or family members are trapped in this same cycle, believing there's no alternative, that fast food is just a part of modern everyday life? This is the reality for millions of Americans. Every quick bite, every sugary drink, every seemingly harmless combo carries with it a story that has not yet been told, a story of pain, addiction, and silent consequences. Fast food is more than a habit. It is an invisible force that shapes lives, health, and society in an almost imperceptible way. And understanding this is the first step to breaking the cycle, to looking at your diet with care and responsibility, and to protecting not only yourself, but also those you love. What makes fast food a silent killer is not just its constant presence or its irresistible taste. The real danger lies in the invisible consequences it causes, often taking years to manifest but leaving devastating marks on the body and mind. When we talk about fast food, we're not just dealing with calories. We're dealing with a combination of sugar, sodium, saturated fats, preservatives, and chemical additives that, together, profoundly alter the human body's functions. The impact on the body. Let's start with the heart. Every meal rich in trans and saturated fats increases bad cholesterol in the blood. This cholesterol accumulates in the arteries, creating plaques that can block blood flow. The result? Hypertension, a high risk of heart attack, and stroke. And what's most alarming is that this process happens silently. You feel fine, you go about your daily routine, but your heart works harder and harder, often without a warning. The liver also suffers. fats accumulated in the organ can lead to hepatic steatosis, known as fatty liver, which reduces the liver's ability to metabolize toxins and regulate essential hormones. Once the liver is damaged, other body functions begin to fail, including blood sugar regulation, increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes. And diabetes, by itself, is a silent nightmare. It damages nerves, kidneys, eyes, and blood vessels. Every fast food meal drastically increases blood sugar levels, creating constant spikes that, over the years, destroy internal organs without a fuss. The digestive system. In addition to the liver and heart, the digestive system suffers profound consequences. Frequent consumption of ultra-processed foods alters the gut flora, reducing the diversity of good bacteria and promoting chronic inflammation. This imbalance is linked to problems like obesity, a weakened immune system, intestinal disorders, and even mood swings. And it's not just the gut that's affected. The pancreas is overworked to produce enough insulin to handle the sugar spikes, which, over time, leads to insulin resistance, the gateway to diabetes. Every soda, every sugary dessert, every combination of fat and sugar creates a silent but destructive domino effect. Psychological consequences. The consequences of fast food are not just physical. They are also mental. Studies show that diets rich in ultra-processed foods are associated with depression, anxiety, and behavioral changes. Why? Because the food's chemistry alters neurotransmitters in the brain, including dopamine and serotonin, which are responsible for pleasure and well-being. At first, the effect is pleasant. You feel immediate pleasure from eating. But in the long run, the brain starts to depend on this legalized drug, creating a reward cycle that reinforces the habit and increases vulnerability to emotional disorders. It's a subtle, almost invisible effect. You don't realize it, but you're being molded. Every fry, every burger, every soda contributes to dependent behavior and, in many cases, to mental health issues that go far beyond the physical. Social and economic impact. And we can't forget the social impact. People with chronic diseases spend more on healthcare, miss more work, and often face discrimination or stigmatization due to weight or physical appearance. Fast food, which once seemed like a convenient and cheap option, generates a huge hidden cost for families and society. Hospitals and clinics receive patients every day with problems directly linked to ultra-processed food. Medical appointments, heart surgeries, diabetes treatments, and psychological counseling become routine. And the worst part, often, all of this could have been prevented with better food choices. A cycle that repeats itself. What's most frightening is that these consequences are silent. Unlike an accident or an infectious disease that manifests quickly, the effects of fast food accumulate slowly. You eat, you feel pleasure, you continue your routine, and your body is being corroded from the inside. Clogged arteries, an overworked liver, an inflamed gut, a brain conditioned to seek chemical rewards, and, meanwhile, the industry profits billions selling convenience and taste. It's a cruel cycle. You feed your body with food, but it slowly devours you. Now, look at yourself and the people around you. How many friends, family members, or co-workers have health problems related to their diet? How many lives could be different if their eating was mindful, balanced, and less industrialized? This is the reality of America today. A country where the silent killer is present on every corner, in every fast food restaurant, in every promotional combo. What seems harmless and quick is, in fact, devastating and slow. After understanding the seriousness of what fast food does to your health, it may seem like all is lost. But here's the truth, it's not. The path to hope exists, and it begins with information and awareness. Knowing what's behind what you eat is the first step to taking back control of your health. Every conscious food choice is a brick in the building of a longer, healthier, and more fulfilling life. Starting with small changes. You don't have to give up all ready-made meals at once. The secret is to go gradually. Swapping one fast food meal for a healthy option once or twice a week already makes a difference. Replacing sodas with water or natural juices, choosing fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins is a way to slow down the destructive cycle. Every conscious decision counts. Small dietary victories add up over time, and your body responds positively. Energy increases, digestion improves, your mood stabilizes, and the risks of diseases begin to decrease. Reading labels and understanding ingredients. A fundamental step is to learn to read labels. The industry knows how to hide the danger behind complicated words: corn syrup, partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, artificial preservatives. By learning to decipher these terms, you can identify products that are loaded with excessive sugar, fat, and sodium. And from there, make conscious choices. Knowing the ingredients is, in practice, taking control of your body. You don't have to be a nutritionist to understand that if a product contains more than 30% of the recommended daily sodium in a single serving, it is not your health's friend. Planning and preparation. The habit of a healthy meal requires organization. Preparing food at home, cooking in larger quantities, and storing it practically helps reduce the dependence on fast food. And you don't have to overdo it. Starting with simple, quick, and balanced recipes already makes a difference. The important thing is to regain the power of choice, instead of letting convenience dictate what you eat. Exercise and movement. Health isn't just about food. Movement is also fundamental. Daily walks, regular physical activities, and muscle-strengthening exercises complement the improvement in your diet. When the body and mind are in balance, the impact of fast food decreases considerably, and you begin to notice the effects more clearly: more energy, a better mood, and greater resistance to diseases. Collective consciousness. The path to hope is not just individual. It is collective. Encouraging friends and family to make conscious choices creates a support network that strengthens healthy habits. Sharing knowledge about the risks of fast food, the importance of a balanced diet, and the invisible and silent effects of an industrialized diet is an act of caring for those you love. Society can change as each person takes back control of their health. Small gestures become big movements: natural food markets, schools teaching nutrition, awareness campaigns, and public policies that encourage healthy food. Internal motivation. Above all, change starts within you. Recognizing that your health is your greatest asset is essential. Fast food is powerful, yes, but so are you. You have the ability to choose, to resist, to prioritize long-term well-being over immediate pleasure. It's not about eliminating all indulgences, but about balancing choices, reducing dependence on ultra-processed foods, and regaining control of your body and your life. The final message of hope. You can be the difference in your own story. Every healthy meal, every step of exercise, every conscious choice is a victory against the silent killer that is fast food. Remember, information is power. Choose well, share knowledge, inspire people around you, and see how small changes can create a long, healthy, and fulfilling life. In the end, hope is in your hands. And with every choice you make, you are strengthening not only your body but also your future. We've reached the end of this journey. Throughout this video, you discovered that fast food is not just a quick meal or a momentary pleasure. It's a carefully crafted, elaborate system that turns convenience into dependency and taste into risk. You've seen how numbers and statistics reflect human stories, and how the regular consumption of ultra-processed foods silently, slowly, and relentlessly erodes health. But, more importantly, you've also realized that there are ways out, paths, and choices that can transform your life. Information is the first step to taking back control. Knowledge about what you consume, reading labels, meal planning, and encouraging healthy habits are powerful tools to break the cycle that the fast food industry has built over decades. Summary of key takeaways. Fast food is linked to an increase in chronic diseases, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and heart problems. The industry uses aggressive marketing, flavor manipulation, and convenience strategies to create habits that are difficult to break. The victims are more than just numbers. Real stories show the physical, psychological, and social impact of this dependency. But there is hope. Small changes, food awareness, and healthy habits can significantly reduce the risks. You now have the information to make smarter choices, not just for yourself, but for those you love. And here's the most important step. Now it's time to act. Share this video with friends and family. The more people who understand the risks of fast food, the greater the positive impact on collective health. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. New content on nutrition, healthy habits, and disease prevention can transform your life. Start observing what you eat today. Small changes lead to huge results over time. And if you want to take the next step, watch our video on how to read labels and identify nutritional pitfalls, a practical guide that will help you make more conscious choices every day. Closing message. Never forget, your health is your greatest asset. It doesn't belong to the industry, to advertisements, or to convenience. It belongs to you. Every conscious choice you make is a victory over the silent killer hiding in colorful packaging, in irresistible promotions, and in giant combos. The path to a longer, healthier, and more fulfilling life is in your hands. Start now. Choose better. Inspire those around you. And remember, the power to transform your life is in every meal you decide to eat. The silent killer may be everywhere, but you have the power to win this battle.